Greetings, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Carnival of Randomness. This week we come to you from Camp Quartz Lake, beneath it in our secret lab, and we were working in the lab late one night. I am Dr. Robinstein. Here's my assistant, Zigor.
Actually, it's pronounced Zygor.
Zygor?
Well, do you say Robinstein?
Well,
Okay.
This episode is going to be scary, isn't it, Zach?
We said it's going to be scary.
And it's about all things horror movies, everything else, and we are blessed with some guests. We have Howlin, Colin.
Say hello.
Oh, hey,
We
hi.
have
How's it
Count
going?
Mike.
Morning.
Hello, good
And we
afternoon, or whenever you're listening.
We visited his evil brother Chaos yesterday. We have Rellik, the Clown of Nightmares, with us.
Hello, everybody. This is Rellik, the Clown of Nightmares. I am here to scare you today. I took his accent.
I know. Everybody accent.
So,
All right, so let's get into horror. I think the one thing everybody always asks, what was the first horror movie you guys saw? Or that you can remember seeing? What got you into it, if you're into it? I don't even know. Rellik, are you even into horror movies?
No, I like cartoons. Cartoons, I would say, let's see, Charlie Brown and the Great Pumpkin. Terrifying movie. Terrifying movie.
what do you think of Charlie Brown?
Oh, to quote the great and popular Trick or Treat, Charlie Brown's an asshole.
Yeah, there we go. Now Rellik knows he can swear.
Yeah.
That's great.
Oh, yeah.
yes.
Don't worry. It gets the parental...
And I'm going to be pedantic. That's just to take on Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead or waiting for Godot. That's all it is. They're waiting for the Great Pumpkin and never shows up. Samuel Beckett was turning over in his grave.
Yeah, he might be. Count Mike. What
Yes.
you got? What were you...
Well, I can remember way back Chiller Theater on Channel 13. They used to have it in the afternoon when I was just a babe, and I remember Munster on Campus was on in the afternoon, and he heaved an axe at somebody's head, and it hit. So it's one of the things I remember as far as horror movies. But yeah, Chiller Theater, Jared Carr on Channel 13 in Rochester. Yep.
Wasn't he Gregory the Grave Walker as
No,
well?
he was not. That was Channel 10. And they went to the expense of filming someone's feet walking through Mount Hope Cemetery. That was their intro, and that was about as much money as Channel 10 spent. And considering the movies that they budgeted for, they were awful.
I saw one back in the day when I was a kid on that called Sound of Horror. It was about this invisible dinosaur thing. And now when I was a kid, and I've got it, you know those crummy packs for horror movies where you get the 50, you get like 4,000 of these public domain stinkers. I managed to see it again. It terrified me when I was a kid. It did terrify me now. Well, for different reasons, I was laughing so hard. But I remember Gregory the Grave Walker, and I remember the Phantom of the Theater briefly on Fox, very briefly.
That had to be later because we're talking mid-'70s in Rochester, and Fox didn't. Well, Fox wasn't a network till the end of the '80s, but 31 wasn't on until like early '80 or.
First
81.
movie they had was Godzilla versus Megalodon.
Okay.
A giant cockroach.
The giant cockroach. Well, I like the one where Craig Stevens' Peter Gunn is trying to kill the giant mantis. I'm impressed by that. Peter Gunn himself is out there trying to take it out. He does.
Colin, what's your first one?
My first one, I was 8 years old, and I remember everybody usually says, like, Exorcist or Friday the 13th and stuff like that. But for me, in my age group, it was different. I actually watched black and white horror movies as 8 years old, watching Dracula, Frankenstein. I was actually introduced the right way.
So the old Universal monsters.
Classics.
Yes, that and the silent movies. The silent movies were my favorite. I loved Nosferatu, the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which that still freaks me out a bit, even though it's so outdated. But when you watch it, it still kind of chills you because, just the feelings and emotions. And also, there's one I actually just checked out recently this year. I never knew about it until, like, recently, but it was called Hexon. I don't know if you guys heard of that.
Yeah, the Danish one about the
witchcraft.
The witchcraft. I literally saw that, freaked me out so much. I mean, it totally freaked me out more than the Cabinet, Dr. Caligari. Like, literally, I was just like, Dr. Caligari is just basically soft porn compared to Hexon.
Wait, a doctor with a cabinet in a horror movie? Yeah, that would freak out.
Yeah, well, for a little guy like me, yes. And and then other movies like Phantom of the Opera.
Oh, the old Lon Chaney one?
Yes, actually, that was my favorite. My favorite is actually Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and Drew Barrymore's grandfather was Dr. Jekyll.
Was it John or Lionel?
John Barrymore. And then as I got older, I started getting into more modern, like, old school horror movies. And basically now what I mostly watch is like cheesy, like 80s horror movies. Like I remember I watched Slaughter High, and I'm thinking to myself, why the hell did they make this movie? It's so bad. Like literally, they're there for an hour and a half running around this old abandoned school, and the guy is going after them left and right. And you would think they would know better, but the stunts were actually not bad. The girl just like flies like 2 stories out of the window to land on the guy, and I'm like, damn. I'm surprised he didn't get hurt. But I like Reanimator. That was my favorite.
Classic.
Friday the 13th movies, of course.
He's got the hat.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Oh.
Classic. You name it. I've watched basically all of them because I don't know. It's just I was like, a lot of people like the horror comedies are great. I love Monster Squad. Yeah. That's a good one. I mean, I know like it's cheesy, but to me in my age group, it's basically a classic.
Well, for me too, the first one I think I ever saw, and this is apologies to Mike Batista out there, was on WOR because they would show horror movies and Godzilla movies in the day. And I happened to catch this one. It was directed by the director who would make actually Black Christmas and Porky's. Children Won't Play with Dead Things.
Yeah.
But this talk about a resume. He directed Black Christmas, which was called The Strangers Watching, this movie, and Porky's, among other things.
Do you ever? Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
This was actually a case of, it's almost like Evil Dead before Evil Dead, where these kids go on an island, they read a book, and basically nothing happens for an hour. Then
that's the thing.
Corpses pop up.
This was so low budget, it made Evil Dead look like, Avatar by comparison.
It looks like $1 million movie.
And literally, there's one scene, they tie a guy to a tree, you see he's staring, he's gagged, all these corpses walk by him. One sees him, like, goes down and starts forking on him.
No, Lord.
And
that's so bad.
And that movie terrified one of our dear friends.
Yeah, one of my friends is traumatized from that one still.
For me, I'm going to go... Actually, I had to confirm with my cousin about this. Years ago, I think I was maybe 2 or 3, went to a drive-in movie. Google that one, kids, if you don't know what a drive-in movie theater is. It was a double feature. The first one was Footloose.
Oh, wow.
And the second one that they thought I would be asleep for was Cujo.
Wait, Footloose and Cujo both
Footloose,
at the same theater?
Footloose and Cujo was a double showing, a double feature at the drive-in theater. Can't remember where, because like I said, it was over 30 years ago. And I was awake for Cujo, and there was a guy, the obligatory guy, with the pickup truck in the cage and the giant St. Bernard in the back.
Wow.
Granted, that St. Bernard was probably the sweetest, most lovable dog you would ever meet, but watching that thing, it's like,
Not going
you
near
get
that
scared,
dog.
yeah.
No.
Well, I had
I'm
one,
out.
actually, there was a drive-in by my house down on Long Pond Road, and they had a double feature one time of The Rescuers.
Starlight?
No, actually, this was just one on Long Pond.
Lakeshore?
Yeah, Lakeshore.
Lakeshore.
Yeah.
And what they showed one time, they had The Rescuers, which is a Disney movie.
Oh my God!
And The Sentinel.
I love The Rescuers.
And The Sentinel, which is
Completely off horror
which is
movies.
about, it's about
I'm a Disney fan. I'm
a
sorry.
House of the Devil. You love The Rescuers.
Yeah, but come on.
House of the
Footloose
Devil
and
and The
Cujo.
Rescuers.
Well, that happened in the 60s. They would show Disney films at the Central Drive-In, and then they'd have previews for upcoming films. And I remember The Name of the Game is Kill was one of them. It was Mike Connors. Now, you look at it now, and it's nothing, but they're like, the name of the game is Kill,
Well,
Kill. And
They
you're
were
like,
showing
seven
double
going,
features of. They were showing double features of The Passion of the Christ with Dawn of the Dead.
Oh,
And they were
Yeah.
doing
That's
Jesus Christ
perfect.
Vampire Hunter with Passion of the Christ. They were calling that the Jesus Chainsaw Massacre.
I want to be the guy that puts these double features together, because I could think of some really good ones.
Yeah,
Like,
you
how about
could completely
Smurfs?
destroy some movies.
Smurfs and the Goonies, or not the Goonies, the Ghoulies.
Oh, Ghoulies, yeah.
Well, speaking of that, we should talk a little about 80s horror file, because Mike and I have been going back and forth about Night of the Creeps. a
Oh,
lot.
it was
I was
on
saying, I didn't
Comet
see
the other
that.
night, and
Was it?
I remember them showing that in the 80s on one of the WPIX or whatever on cable, and that is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I love rock and roll, and they have a lot of old 50s
I didn't know they had
rock
the
and
Stroll
roll
in
there.
that. I really
the
didn't.
Stroll, Let There Be Drums, I think, is in there, but the one part I got good news and bad news, girls. The good news is your dates are here. What's the bad news? They're dead.
I always love that part. That part is the
He
most
delivers
cheesiest
it
line
perfectly.
ever.
It starts out like a 1950s movie because there's these people on Lover's Lane and there's this slasher, like hatchet guy
Psycho,
going, and this meteor lands. It's like these little things that get in your head.
Yeah, they're like
little
aces
slugs,
almost.
And then
like
it
slugs.
zooms up to the present because they kept the corpse,
Yeah,
and
no
it's been
worries.
fermenting.
There's a lot here,
Well,
Randall.
Yeah,
Why would you use a word like fermenting?
They were fermenting. So the kids, their dare was, well, we won't do the spoiler alert, but it's a great movie. A lot of dark humor and a lot of good music.
There's some big names in that movie. Well, the one kid is from the second Vacation movie. He's from European Vacation. The kid with, I forgot what his name was. He was Rusty in the second.
Okay.
The National
Oh, the
Vacation
kid doing the dare that they got to steal the corpse.
He was
and
like
the
one of the
frat
main
jerks.
character kids that like kind of survived, I think.
Well, another funny one is her boyfriend is such an ass that he comes to the door, he's a dead zombie, and she doesn't notice because she can't tell the difference because he was such an ass that he's a zombie, and she still can't tell the difference.
And
so
he's
that is
still an ass after that.
yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
she's just talking to him like normal because she can't tell the difference.
Because
So.
there's one called Night of the Comet around the
Oh,
same time.
oh, Catherine Mary Stewart.
Yeah.
Okay, pal.
Wait, Night of the Comet?
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Night of the Comet.
Don't mix it up with Night of the Creeps. It's different.
No.
It's different. Yeah.
What if they do a double feature of that at the drive-in, and then people get the names mixed up?
Because then I
But
think people.
nowadays,
But you can't mix it up because
because
Night of the Comet,
Yeah,
and Night
it's
of the
true.
Creeps.
They have Night of the Lepus on, too.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
Night of the Lepus, for you people out there who've never seen it, is has Dr. McCoy, DeForest Kelly, badly giant, dangerous bunnies.
Yes, this is true.
Who are known as... Damn it, Jim.
We're giving you ideas of what
That's
to watch,
scary.
aren't we, down there?
Oh yeah. Rellik is the
I'm
oldest
jotting
one
down
here,
all
but
my.
hasn't seen
I'm
half
jotting
this
down all
crap,
the
but-
movies right now.
Yeah, Night of the Comet, just another excuse for zombies to come back and attack everybody.
You know my favorite? Actually, I just bought it last year, and it was my first time watching it. I've always heard about this movie growing up. I never got a chance to watch it. It was the 1985 movie Return of the Living Dead.
Oh, yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
there's some trivia here. I
Yeah.
have to bring this one up. My brother's band, Dumet's, Yet Play Perry's, in the graveyard scene with Nora Quigley dancing,
Yeah.
they're playing their song, Love
What?
Under Will.
Wait,
Yeah,
I know
that's
that
right.
song.
It is
That
on
was
the
them?
album. It is on the
No.
album. It was Pink Dust Records,
Yep,
wasn't it?
well, that's the Jet Black Berries then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that they used to show that at Scorgies while the bands were in between bands and stuff. So if it was Return of the Living Dead or Dawn of the Dead, one of them, and if you didn't have enough to drink, you sure went back to the bar and drank some more after watching that.
And
So,
they would have, because Rocky Erickson was on it. He did Burn the Flame. And if you know who Rocky Erickson is,
In that movie, they had a bunch of punk rock bands like on the soundtrack and in the movie. Like they had Grave 45 and they had TSOL, which is one of my favorites, and literally they had all these other bands and they had the punk rock kids in there. So basically, this was like, I wouldn't say one of the first movies that had punk rock hits in it, like horror movies that did, but it was more noticeable.
well, some of those
in this
trauma
one.
movies were like,
Well-
you probably did them maybe. I don't know.
But
Yeah.
no,
But I could be wrong, but
But there was supposed to be a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, and something happened, I think, where Romero didn't do it, but they decided to do because they allude back to the original movie in it.
yeah.
And I think the best line in that movie, I think it was that movie in the first one, or not any of the 5 subsequent sequels. The zombies have begun to
My
learn.
girlfriend is a zombie, part 3.
Oh my god.
The zombie has learned to speak by this point, and they send the paramedics to rescue him. They eat all the paramedics. He gets in the ambulance, grabs the microphone, and yells to dispatch, "Send more paramedics!"
Oh my god.
We have to talk because it's the elephant in the room. We have an evil clown with us. Killer Clowns from Space.
No, yes, that is a classic movie. Unfortunately, I'm not into the cheesy horror movies. I prefer more of the, the Jasons, the Michaels.
Yeah.
Not the sequels, of
What
course.
did you think of it, though?
Originals.
You weren't happy with it, though, were you?
No, the original It.
Yeah.
I love the original It. Clowns luring children, that is what I do. I lure the children to me, and then I kill them and bury them in my backyard.
You're sitting next to him,
Yeah.
I'm down here.
You're okay. You are beyond a child, so you're good. The new It, I love the blood and gore, of course.
Did you like it, Colin?
I think the kid did a good job as the clown, but
Well,
just
as
the
a
movie
kid,
was.
The children
I'm
in the
afraid
movie
of
were good.
clowns.
Yes.
The children actors were amazing in the
Yeah.
new one.
Yeah.
I didn't like the clown. I didn't like the costume. I didn't like
You
the
really-
way he acted, his personality, the stupid dancing.
Yeah.
That all kind of threw me off.
But Killer Clowns from Space, I consider one of the...
Oh my god!
It's a classic. It is a
Did
classic.
they ever release a sequel to that?
There's-
movie?
No,
'Cause
they've
I
been
thought
talking
they
about a
did.
sequel for years.
Oh, okay.
There's...
They want to,
So I
but
thought there
The
was.
clowns
but
are
I
turning
guess not.
people into cotton candy and eating them.
yeah, but
What are
trying to
you
do a
gonna
sequel
knock
of
my
that
block
now,
off?
though,
Well, that's
You
the
know.
thing. How can you do a sequel to it now in this day and age?
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it'd have to be all new characters, all new clowns.
Yeah, but people still love Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yeah,
And
oh,
they-
it's
hit
cult status,
And I
no
feel
question.
like it's a lot more popular now than it was probably 30 years ago.
And another one from the 80s, Motel Hell.
Yeah,
No, I've never
yeah.
seen that, but I heard
It
shit
takes
about
all
that.
kinds
I
of
heard-
critters
I heard
to
a
make
lot of stuff
Farmer
about Motel
Vincent's
Hell.
The
fritters.
classic end line, I use preservatives.
Oh my god.
Well, Zach was down there mentioning. He just mentioned critters.
Yeah, good.
Oh,
yeah.
Critters, yes.
Another
Critters.
movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Critters is great.
You can actually find the Critters multi-pack. I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I have it.
Really?
All 15 or 20.
No, I think there's only
There's
4 or 5.
There's three. I think three or
Three or
four.
four,
yeah.
I want
yeah.
that little statue of the little critters thing because there are those like big life-size like action figure like
yeah.
statue
Oh,
critters.
yeah.
And that'd be great just to hang in like the window.
Yeah, just put it in the
Especially
dashboard
when
of
I
your
get my
car.
new house,
Some
you know.
people have the
Yeah.
bobblehead
Move a little bit,
Jesus.
yeah.
I have a critter.
Critters was a good one, but then they kind of went off, Critters, and they went to some of the other dumb movies.
Ghoulies.
The mole thing that.
Oh,
or
Well, didn't a lot of those
the snake thing. It was out in the desert.
didn't like
Tremors.
Tremors.
Yeah,
Tremors
that's
is
good.
I
I like
own the
Tremors.
mixed
The
pack
first
of
one's
those.
pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tremors.
But then
is
it kind of
classic.
went downhill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
First
You've got
one's
to.
I
funny.
feel
Keep
like
the
the
originals.
1, 2, and 3 are great, and then it went down after them.
Right.
Yeah.
Then they had Pumpkinhead with Lance Henriksen.
Ooh,
in it.
yes.
Pumpkinhead.
I actually
Classic.
had that at home, and I was watching the other night with Aaliyah, and she's just like, "Can you change it, please?" I'm like, "Why?" Because this is too frightening.
The one that got
come
me, though,
on.
I think it was Blood Feud when the witch turns to the camera and makes the comment that wrecks the whole
Yes.
movie.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny? My favorite fourth wall scene when the person's looking at the camera, is The Shining, where Jack Nicholson is in the bedroom of the hotel and he finally snaps at his wife and literally he's like, "I won't let you fuck this up for me," and he walks out of the room staring at the camera before he opens up the door to get out of the room. And that part right there really chilled me. Like,
And if you look at that
scared
movie,
me.
you could see they faked the moon landing.
We're not going to talk about that part.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
But slasher films, now, who is your hero, Evil Clown?
Slasher films. I mean, I have to go the classic Michael. Just a complete stalker. Never says a word. I used to be like that. I used to be the silent, clown that would just run around. I figured it was more fun to fuck with people.
Well, clearly.
Grab them, drag them off into the woods while degrading them and making them feel like nothing. I do a lot of things where, I kind of incorporate Michael into myself. Standing in a dark corner, waiting for you to come around the corner, and then just grab you and run off with you.
I hope you don't have any sisters.
No, I don't. Well, I do have a sister, but
He did have a sister.
I did.
He was
she's
in
a
St. Louis at the
5 foot by
time.
11 hole in the backyard right now.
Oh, my.
I do carry my shovel, and I measure people by the height of my shovel because I dig down about 5.5 feet. But you got to be a certain length. I don't want to do too much work and get sweaty and dirty.
Any police listening out there, we are not responsible for what our guests do.
No. And
We here-
please do not look in the field behind my house.
Just don't give him the address.
Yeah, exactly.
My address is
Oh, my
Zach.
God.
What's your address?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you had the theory about slasher movies that you're just not getting it as much.
No, I was watching some sort of slasher movie recently, a modern slasher movie. I don't like them anymore.
No?
I mean, I wouldn't call them horror movies like people do because, okay, yeah, it's scary because it could happen. That's what people do. They go around and they kill people. But I want to suspend belief.
Yeah.
Jeepers Creepers does that to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
The original was it was all right, and then they made the sequels, and it got worse
Right.
and worse. And I actually just watched Jeepers Creepers 3 again a couple nights ago.
The new one, right?
Yeah, the one-
and it's
They made
horrible.
it. They made it two.
It's
Yes.
horrible.
Okay, they made it
You
two.
know, I could literally run around town as myself with a knife and be more creepy than Jeepers Creepers character,
Right. And
which he was designed and created to be horror. He flies. He comes around every 27, 28 years. It's something.
He
that-
whistles very badly.
Yeah.
Is that like Bad Ronald?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, Bad Ronald. Oh, my goodness.
Well, exactly, and that's the problem I have is that it's not the scary that we grew up
And there's
with.
too much. It's just too much formula. Because wasn't there a movie you saw where you
Yes,
predicted
I
everybody?
called the order in which the people died because in all those horror movies they have a schedule.
Yes.
That's pretty good.
The first one that dies is the asshole.
Yes. Yes.
The second one that dies is the bitch girl.
Yeah.
The third one that dies is the jovial fat guy. So I'd be dead number 3.
Yeah,
my
you'd be dead really quick. I'd be dead first, so
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
And in this
I'd
movie,
be the virgin.
I think it
like
was
the
that
virgin,
one.
like female at the end.
Yeah,
my God.
and there's always, the heart, the goth guy or girl with the heart of gold and the weird virgin that survive.
Right.
But
Well, I am
as I
weird.
sat there
I'm
watched
not a
it,
virgin though, so I might actually die.
But they play one on television.
You'll die like fourth.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
fourth.
I'm that guy.
Four through 6 is like the remaining non-virgin.
Like, I find
goth
out what's
kids.
going on and freak out and be like, "Is everyone okay?" And then just the minute I say that, I get slashed.
But they always do the thing. We're not going to, well,
my
let's
head
split up
chopped off.
over here. Let's just go. And the creepy, it's like, let's go in the house that's haunted. Okay, please. But you mentioned Bad
You mean
Ronald.
like the Geico commercial?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
But
Okay.
Bad Ronald, it's the movie, if I remember, the kid's with his mom. His mom dies. He holds up in the house.
Well, he accidentally kills the girl next door, and his mother says,
Accidentally.
"Oh yeah." So he says
Accidentally.
accidentally. So his mother
That term
says,
a lot.
"Look, we're gonna take it to spare room. We're gonna board it off like it was never here, and you're gonna stay there till this cools down." Well, then his mother dies, so the kid doesn't know what to do. So these people buy the house with 2 young, attractive daughters, and
It's always the attractive daughters.
It is.
Never
And
those
he's got,
like
like, a
little
secret
fat,
room.
ugly like
Old
daughters.
Ronald was drilling holes in the wall and everything
doesn't
else.
he have like
He
a
was drilling
secret
holes in
room in the
something,
back
but-
or
yeah,
something?
and that's where he got stuck, and then they eventually, yeah.
Well, sometimes you think horror films jump the shark because there's one actually called Monster about a killer poop.
Monster.
Oh,
What?
Lord.
No,
whoa,
this
I
is a
got-
real
Oh,
thing.
God.
Monster, the tagline, don't get caught with your pants down.
Wow.
I've seen it.
I like it.
How old
And
is this movie?
he comes to mid-2000s.
It's a chili festival.
okay.
It's a chili festival.
Oh,
You go
my
through
God.
and he
chili.
comes, and it's a serial killer that
place
gets
to show
fused
that.
with shit.
I thought I've seen some bad movies.
And he comes when the town is having. He comes through the toilets as the town is having its chili festival.
Nice.
Oh wow.
I tell you what.
That is about as dumb as The Fog.
Oh.
The Blob.
Attack of the
Yeah.
Killer Tomatoes.
Wait,
whatever
wait,
you
wait,
want.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
I love
stuff.
the
Oh, here's
Blob.
one for it. The
Gingerbread
stuff.
Man.
Yes.
Oh, that's
Stuff,
Ginger
yeah.
Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man.
Ginger Dead Man.
Which-
And
which is
Ginger Dead Man
What's that
2,
Killer
Passion of the
Bong
Crust.
that-
Killer Bong.
Yeah, is it Killer
Killer
Bong?
Bong.
Okay, yeah, that was
Yeah,
so
Killer
bad.
Bong.
I didn't even watch that.
It's
That's
like-
how bad it was.
There's one. Somebody did a short one time of a woman screaming. There's a tortoise chasing her, and they keep shooting back. She's trying to run. They just show it.
Well, how can you not outrun a tortoise?
Exactly.
It's like Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Or
I mean,
Night of
there's
the
just a
Living
tomato.
Bread.
and she's
Yeah.
going,
Night of the Living Bread
Bread
was
Living
quality.
Bread. But go back to the Blob in like 1950s horror. Now Edward D. Wood Jr.
Yes.
Wait, wasn't Steve McQueen in that?
Yeah, Steve
Yeah, the
McQueen
Blob,
was
yeah.
in
He's in
that.
the Blob,
Yes, he
yeah.
was.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
The Blob. It sneaks. It creeps.
One of the coolest
written
men
by
of the
Burt
decade.
Bacharach, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the coolest
Oh,
men of
Burt
the
Bacharach.
decade
He
was
wrote
in the Blob.
Yeah, it's the theme from the Blob. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I,
Some actually
one of the ones I
performed
like
it.
was
Blah, blah.
Invasion of the Saucer Men. Where
Oh,
they
now
got
that
you
is
drunk,
real.
with Frank Gorshin.
But the important thing is in the movie, what is it, Bikini Beach with Linda Evans, and she's watching that as Eric Von Zipper absconds her. So that is on TV. So, yeah, she's watching Attack of the Saucermen, Invasion of the Saucermen. So,
That's
There
amazing.
you go. I know.
And then they
absolutely
came
nothing.
back as Attack of the Eye Creature.
I got nothing else.
I got
Well, but on the Monster note, I had a.
You gotta go back to the shit every time, don't you?
Come
No,
on,
there's
man.
others of that ilk.
Pretty fucking shitty.
It stinks.
No,
Like I
of
said,
those terrible horror movies.
Can you say that?
Yeah, sure,
Okay,
why not?
All right, fine. Shit.
It was One-Eyed Monster, where Ron Jeremy's penis.
What? Wait, Ron Jeremy's in a
Ron
horror
Jeremy's
movie?
penis
No,
is
his
taken
penis
over
is-
by. No, he's in it, but not for long. His penis is taken over by aliens, and goes around. It removes itself from his body, and
So
goes
it's
around
a
killing.
detachable penis.
Yeah.
that
we
kills
all
her.
remember that song.
I'm
Yeah,
so
I-
glad I woke up this morning.
That is a movie I do not want to
Wake
watch.
up, and
Fire!
we're talking about like monsters and
And-
Ron Jeremy's penis.
Yeah,
and
he's hit
going
rock
after the
bottom.
aliens.
Yes.
That's it.
Oh my god.
Well, let's go back to the saner times of the classic Universal monsters.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. Who has a favorite? Anybody have a favorite of these? Or?
I do actually.
sure.
My favorite. There's the Wolfman. Wolfman's my favorite because I always love werewolves and the werewolf movies in general. And my wife and everybody always says that I'm more of a vampire than a werewolf. So I do like vampire movies.
Do you sparkle?
No, I hate that so bad when they're when I saw that.
You were
Twilight.
amongst friends then, because we all hate that.
Because vampires don't fucking sparkle.
No, they
I
don't.
just want to punch someone
murder
whoever
things.
says that.
I turn into a
do.
wolf when the
See
moon gets
Christopher
full.
Lee, yeah.
Yeah.
You and every other guy
Oh
on
my
Saturday
god!
night.
I feel like Christopher
Right.
Lee would murder all those Twilight kids.
And it would be great.
What
Yeah.
about the Hammer films?
Well, the Creature from the Black Lagoon is my fave.
That's a
universe.
good
Oh,
one.
I love that.
And I don't blame them for being pissed in the second one. In any of them, really. I mean, they're screwing with him for
They
three
are, they
movies
just-
in a row.
Exactly.
They
Yeah.
don't want to. They come
Outside
into
of
his
killing the
kingdom.
dog, which I don't like, other than that, I don't blame him. He's going after the blonde. Whatever, go.
But
Yeah.
but the one movie I do like when I was a kid, it gave me chills and it was so exciting. Like I was just like rooting for the werewolf. It was the Werewolf versus Frankenstein.
Oh, yeah.
Wolfman versus Frankenstein. And that one, oh my god, that was like for me, that was like Freddy versus Jason. That was before that. I like that better than Freddy versus Jason.
Show you the difference how things have changed. Like now we'll go see a slasher movie. He got her head cut off. My dad, when he was a kid, saw the Wolfman at a show. Him and his cousin hid behind the chairs.
Yeah.
Well, they're saying the original Frankenstein makeup, they were concerned about it appearing on film because it was just going to be too disturbing for people.
Yeah.
Although the guys that were in World War I probably didn't feel that way.
Yeah,
But
no.
still.
But now
that.
you see weirder shit than that nowadays.
Yeah.
Like you go to the extremes, like with a
Yeah.
lot of the new stuff.
That's
Like
all they got.
Like there's a clown movie called Terrifier. I was actually going
Yes,
to talk to you
yes,
about it.
yes.
And Terrifier is freaky as fuck. I've never seen it, but I've seen previews and I've seen clips and people talking about it. I'm just like,
it's
when
got
did he
some-
come out? I didn't even know
Yeah.
about him 3 years ago.
It's got some horrible gore. Like usually just kill scenes in there that never happened.
That's like way gorier than Evil Dead, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
it's-
I thought there
you
was
know, you're
some-
used to like the Jason killings, the Freddy killings, the Michael killings.
Those are like soft porn killings. I feel like compared to
Terrifier
Terrifier
is just horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good movie. It's just the murder scenes are just they get to you.
I
Why the
feel
hell
like
have I never heard of this?
It's
'Cause it's
you
too
got to go
terrifying.
on
that's too
Netflix.
terrifying to talk about.
Is it on Netflix?
Yeah, it's on Netflix. It's on
Yeah.
Fire Stick. Now I'm pushing Fire Stick here. Fire Stick.
Not sponsored by Amazon, but we'd like
We're
to
here
be.
to sponsor Fire Stick.
I better get paid for this. Damn it, Amazon.
Where's my paycheck, damn it?
You know, one thing that's lost now is the old good old horror film hosts, like we were talking
Oh,
about.
yeah. Like the
There was
midnight show.
Zachary.
Yeah, the midnight
Zachary.
TV shows. Yeah.
Zachary was great.
Actually, Zach grew up with Chili Billy Cardell.
Well, actually, he was even before my time, but my dad remembers the Chiller Theater in Pittsburgh, Chili Billy Cardell, who passed away not that long ago, a year or so ago.
Who was in Night of the Living Dead in the
Yeah.
original one. Yeah, he was
And he was the
newscaster,
newscaster in the original Night of the Living Dead.
Which
And
is the 50th anniversary this year.
yes, it is. 1968 came out.
I remember hearing a commercial on AM radio and being scared to death.
that
but-
movie scared the heck out of me.
Margaret.
But Chili Billy Cardell was the
That part freaked me
inspiration
out.
behind in SCTV Count Floyd.
Count Floyd, my favorite. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Joe Flaherty.
Yeah, it
And
could be-
Count Mike, too,
because
before.
he's from Pittsburgh and he grew up with Chili Billy Cardell and Chiller Theater.
But they're all gone. My theory is that because we have so much these days, before you would read about maybe in Fangoria or hear about the horror film.
Famous
Or
Monsters.
Famous Monsters,
Yeah.
which was perfect.
Oh,
And
man. I actually read an issue of Fangora from 1989. It was like they were featuring Pet Cemetery in that issue, and I thought that was so cool because I was such a
that
huge
issue went to
fan
the
of that.
dogs.
Fangoria is back though. It is
Yeah.
back. It is republicating.
it-
I am actually going to try with these two wonderful gentlemen to get Terry O'Quinn, the
Yeah.
original
The man
creator
himself
of
behind
Fangoria,
Oh,
on
really?
this podcast.
But
Yeah,
see-
we met him,
wow.
and he is
He's an
that
amazing,
dude is a
amazing
trip.
guy.
He is awesome.
But you think maybe horror film? No, they only have basically all I know is like Swanguli now. You think maybe because we have such access, we can get these movies anywhere.
I remember we had an
Yeah.
antenna on the roof back in the 70s, and I could tune in Channel 3 from Syracuse, Monster Movie Matinee with Dr. Witty and his assistant, and you could never see his face; you could only see his hand, and then his assistant was there, and he had all these scars, and they would do the bits in between the movies, and they were great. They did a great job, and there were times where they had a side story going to the fact where I could care about the movie. I wanted to see what these guys were going to do next. It was
Some
really
of them
cool.
were more entertaining than the movies. They would go to see them, but I think that's what happened. Is just before they were rare. It was an event because we couldn't find them whenever we wanted.
No, no.
You'd be checking in on Saturday nights or
Go
whatever,
through the
watching
TV guide, and now
going to the
whenever.
Channel 9 WOR was like really good about that.
The cool ghoul.
Or, God forbid, go to the video store and hope that the guy who checked it, who
I love going
borrowed
to the
it last
video
week,
store as a
returned
kid.
it.
Like going to
My favorite
Blockbuster or
host is still
Hollywood Video.
Elvira,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's the one I remember. Elvira.
Elvira for a certain reason.
It's Elvira.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
She shows good movies.
All right, when you guys watch midnight showings, like the shows and stuff with the hosts and everything, for you guys, for me, it was always Elvira. Like growing up and stuff, because I'm 29,
You like the
so
Oak
me as a
Ridge
kid,
Boys?
I was a huge Elvira fan. What?
You like the Oak Ridge Boys?
I don't know what that
Hell,
is.
Elvira.
Like Oak Ridge Boys,
Dallas
what the
Fraser
heck
did
are
it
they?
first, so
Yeah,
there you go.
but
No,
Elvira,
Vampira.
I'm a huge
Before
fan.
that.
Huge
Yeah,
fan. I know Vampira.
yeah.
Yeah.
But the one I remember actually on USA,
Yeah.
USA Up All Night with Rhonda Shear.
Oh, well, yeah.
But the problem was they did a mixture. They did some horror movies, but mainly it was like the
Weird stuff.
like
Just
the grindhouse camp action movies.
Yeah.
Remember
They do a
Monster
lot of
Vision with
campy
Joe
stuff.
Bob Briggs? They
Yeah,
had
I
on
remember
TBS,
that.
and they had Grandpa
God.
there. But
Yeah.
you remember, Mike, you probably remember this, on Stone Road, they used to have the midnight movies.
Yeah, yeah.
And I saw there was one called Parasite. It was a 3D movie, which if you would look at Demi
I've heard
Moore's
of that,
filmography,
Parasite.
she does not include it for some reason.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but I have heard the name.
You can't
of that.
find it. There are other movies called Parasite, but I've never been able to find this one.
It's a rare
With
find.
his age,
Yeah.
too, Tales of the Crypt.
Yes,
Yeah.
Tales
Yeah.
from the Crypt.
That's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
For me, Tales from the Crypt, it was Goosebumps and also Are You Afraid of the Dark? And that's what I was basically growing up on when it comes to like midnight horror shows, stuff like that. That was for me. That
Well,
was
and
like
actually,
my generation.
That's a good point because we often don't think of the Crypt Keeper as a horror host.
Right.
yeah,
And
because
he
really
is
don't,
too
but that's a good
funny.
point.
He's
And
too
those old
funny and
DC
tongue-in-cheek.
comics
Yeah.
were
But
legendary.
he still has it. He's still a horror
He still
host.
has that
Yeah.
edge a little bit. Yeah.
He doesn't seem like he ages either.
No,
he
he
looks
like me.
great
He doesn't-
for his
doesn't get
age.
any older.
No.
Yeah.
You know, me and Mike, we just don't age, I guess. You know.
He's hot.
And Monsters on WGN. Remember that?
Oh,
that was
yeah,
out of
yeah.
Chicago in the 90s. And there was another one, Ronald Dahl's Tales of the Unexpected. Now and again, the
mean,
one with
why-
the guy who didn't know he was dead.
Tales from the Dark Side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
where he had
I
Christian
love Tales
Slater
from the
was the
Dark
kid,
Side.
and
That
the
was-
guy didn't know he was dead,
That
so
was
they
my
had him
shit, Tales from
put
the
some
Dark Side.
paper in his some pepper in his hanky, and when he blew his nose, it fell off. So they realized he really was dead, and it was time to go drop.
Yeah.
you know?
Oh, I remember that. Actually, I think there was a Tales from the Crypt, a British movie, a Hammer movie they had about the guy. Well, he did the monkey's paw thing, but of course, when they chopped him up, he was embalmed.
He was the embalmed monkey's paw.
But I think Terrence Fisher, if you ever talk about like horror directors, if you forget Terrence Fisher did all those Hammer movies.
You know
I
what's-
love those.
You know what's my favorite?
What's your favorite, like of Hammer?
It's the Christopher Lee Frankenstein ones. I
Ooh.
don't.
He did Frankenstein?
I know they had Curse of.
Yeah,
Some
it's
person
just
got
all
me
of-
Creature, Frankenstein, the Monster from Hell with David Prost.
'cause I
Thanks a
mostly know
lot.
him
You're
for
welcome.
being
That
a
was your
vampire.
Christmas
No,
bonus.
he was Dr. Frankenstein, and he was pretty evil. There were a couple of those, the Frankenstein, Curse of Frankenstein, those in that Hammer films. Yeah, those are
I
good.
watch a lot of the Vincent Price movies, and I actually
Yeah.
watched
Dr. Fives.
Dr. Fives. I actually watched that for the first time, and holy shit! Like,
Yeah,
like
that
he-
is messed up.
All I
He is
remember is
messed
played
up in
Somewhere
that.
Over the Rainbow
And
at
the kids
the
would go,
end.
hey kids,
Yeah.
it's Egghead.
And
Look,
then-
no.
Oh, it's very good. Just that movie was excellently scary.
Weirdly, the first Vincent Price movie I ever saw was Edward Scissorhands.
Oh, really?
That was the first time
Wasn't
I ever
that his
saw
last
him in a
movie
movie. That
before he
was.
died, too?
And he was
Yeah.
supposed to have such a big part, but he was so ill and
couldn't
unfortunately
do anything,
died
yeah.
very
House
soon
of
after.
Wax was one that used
And
to
then,
scare me.
and then I
Yeah.
got
Story
into
goes
his
that in The
Yeah.
Fly, I guess, that they were laughing
Fly.
so hard at the Help Me thing, they had to cover their mouths a little.
Here's one.
Really?
Help me.
Here's one. The Tingler.
Oh, the
Remember
Tingler.
the Tingler?
There's one. I'll
And they
go
would
off
rig
the-
movie theater
What's that
seats to
one
vibrate
movie?
Yeah.
when the Tingler grabbed onto your
He played an
spine.
evil priest. Do you
He
guys
played
remember?
an evil priest.
I don't remember
Yeah,
that
it was.
one.
I watched this at the George
Witchfinder
Eastman Theater
General?
a long time ago.
Witchfinder General?
I don't know if that
Yeah,
one, but it
that
was
one's-
from like the 18th century or something.
Yeah,
and
Witch
he-
Conqueror Worm. He plays like a witch hunter.
Yeah, yes, he does. I
Or
think
Mask
that's
of
the
Red
one.
Death.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
another good one.
Mask
with
of Red
Paul
Death.
McCartney's old girlfriend.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh my, she's in that. Yeah, that's
Jane
right.
There's
Asher,
one to
yeah.
look up.
Oh my
There's
God.
I
Jane
saw
was
this
in the
one.
movie. I couldn't say.
I
Yeah,
saw this
it
one
was in the
time.
Eastman
only.
house. So I watched it there,
Yeah.
and I thought it was pretty cool. Actually, believe it or not, they're doing the Dryden Theater at the Eastman House on the 20th. They're playing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, the 1920
The
movie.
original,
Oh, the
yeah.
oh.
I'm actually gonna go to that more than anything. I really want to go. But wait a minute. Wait. October. Oh shit! Never mind. I'm doing a show that night.
We'll get to that.
We'll scratch that.
so
People
bad.
who were hoping to see him on October 20th at the Drive-In ain't
Damn
happening.
shows.
Well, Rellik
I
abducted you. You can go to the movie.
hate being
I
in punk
could
bands.
steal you from the show,
That's
Yeah,
it.
please
throw
do.
you in my
Scott
trunk,
did. No one's got to,
drive you to the
Wait,
drive-in.
the clown truck? Do you have a clown car?
I actually want a hearse.
Oh, okay. Oh, I love hearses.
Yeah, he's just going to take you to the drive-in. That's it. Not the
My
pit.
Not the
Yeah.
George
Yeah.
Eastman house, but the drive-in.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'10".
You will fit in the trunk perfectly.
He's a hair
I'm
under
used
a
to the
shovel.
trunk. Yeah.
I have to bring up one because this to me is the
here it
perfect
comes.
summer movie. I watch it every summer because it creeped me out as a kid. It's
Sleepaway
still
Camp?
Phantasm.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a summer movie.
I consider it
For
is
him
for
it is,
some
yeah.
reason. I just consider it because it's weird. It's when you're a kid, like camping outside with the graveyard. And basically, this is a movie about an evil tall man from another planet who kidnaps horses, turns them into dwarves, and makes them servants of his planet.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Now here's one for you movie geniuses
Those
here.
old guys, yeah.
Hellraiser.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there you
Yes,
go.
Did you
that's-
know that Pinhead's name is not Pinhead?
No.
That was a name created by the fans.
Yeah.
What the hell was
because
his
he
name?
had all the pins up there. That's why they call him.
That was only created by the people that watched the movie.
That's
and I'm
amazing.
trying to remember. I saw it on my phone. Can't remember what it is.
They're
What
like,
his original
"What's his
name is.
We don't know. We'll just call him.
I may have to Google it.
Yeah, we may have.
Porcupine? No.
He
Is
was
that-
like
that's
no,
something
it was
I
actually
didn't
like he
know.
was a priest,
Mr.
or
Potato Head gone wrong.
something like that.
Oh my
Don
god.
Rickles, yeah. Mr.
Yeah,
Potato
I mean,
Head.
I gotta
Those
Google
evil
it.
kids
You
that
guys
just
talk.
put
I will
pins
Google
Talk
it.
amongst
in the
ourselves.
potato.
Come on,
Yes.
come on.
Oh my, no, but I do.
Talk, I
I
will
do
Google.
love that movie. That movie is so gory and
The
so much
second one was
sex and
gross.
lust and oh my god.
What? Yeah,
Lust
and then,
betrayal.
violence.
and then we
Yes.
got what?
The
I think
lust
they're
and
rebooting
betrayal.
Hellraiser.
Yeah.
Lust and betrayal.
Yeah, it's like a regular soap opera, but it's a horror movie
With blood.
Yeah,
And-
that
and
that
evil.
girl was a bitch. The one who was.
There you go. Hey, what order was that? Was she 3?
She's 2. She's
Two,
number
okay.
2. Asshole
The
first.
asshole first.
wait, someone said that also.
All right.
Oh
I
my God.
have
Wait, we
Googled
have
it.
it.
His real name is Hell Priest.
Hell priest.
Hell-
He is the
Priest.
lead Cenobite. Then Pope of Hell.
I prefer Pinhead. I'm sorry.
But Hell Priest is what his original name
See,
actually was.
I never knew that. I thought he was always.
Nope. That
I
was
thought-
created by the fans.
It's just like
I thought when he was like in high school in hell, they teased him with that name. Hey,
Hey,
Pinhead.
Pinhead, come here,
You
Pinhead.
exist-
I
Zippy out
feel
of
like
this.
when I think of Pinhead, I don't think of that. I think of Pinhead
Ramones.
from that, but also they got that from Freaks.
Yeah,
the,
they
the
did.
1932
Oh, what about
movie.
Freaks?
Freaks,
Freaks
that
scared
is
the
a-
That's a
heck out of
great
me.
is-
movie.
wow.
Todd Brown.
Yeah.
The same guy who directed Frankenstein, he wanted to make a movie just as more fucked up than Frankenstein.
he
That's
did it.
how they made Freaks. Yeah, a lot of people were fucking horrified that it wasn't really that successful.
Well, he directed
like Frankenstein.
Dracula.
Well, and also
Well,
because it
yeah.
wasn't like special effects. These were actual back in the
they
day.
were actual freaks.
Yeah, there's no PC here. Back in the day, the sideshow freaks. You had.
Right.
Yeah.
and the
what
Pinhead
else?
was actually real, right?
Yeah,
They were all real.
There was
They're all
a
real.
condition where they had
thought it was like-
their heads kind of came to a point. I can't remember what the hell it's
it
called.
was like makeup, but it's not.
No, and then there was
They banned it for
Prince
years.
something or other, the living torso,
Oh,
the guy who was born with no arms and legs, but yet was able to roll and light his own cigarettes.
he's a very
Nice,
outstanding guy.
That's a talent.
Yeah,
That's
and he
talent.
kept it in a box that he
Very
made
outstanding of him.
only with his mouth.
Very.
Oh my god.
That was like the lamest joke of the show.
Yeah.
They-
I didn't even hear it.
I'm not even a dad. I'm not
We
even
got
a dad. I like
time.
that.
They
joke.
banned.
can
Remember
bear
in
this.
comic books or like in horror magazines, they would
dads don't like
advertise
me.
freaks because they would say banned in how
Yeah.
many countries for how many years. Like, when the one with the knife chases her with no legs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Creepy magazine.
No, but I thought that was a good storyline for Freaks, where they were just trying to take the inheritance money from like the Freaks and take over the show and stuff, and then they all band together and just killed those two.
One of
I'm
us.
just like, you don't
one
see
of
that
Google
back
gobble
in
the
the 30s.
Ramones.
Gobble one
Yeah,
of
gabba
us.
gabba,
Yeah,
yeah,
we
gabba
accept
gabba
you,
we,
accept
gabba
you,
we,
one of
or
us.
one
Yeah.
of us. I'm a huge Ramones fan, so I thought it was pretty cool how Stephen King got the guys together to do the song for the Pet Sematary movie, which I still love that song. I know that song, like, I prefer that over Blitzkrieg Bop because that song's so overrated. Like, I loved that song when I was a kid, but as you get older and you hear it so much, you want to, like, punch it.
Well, yeah, at the
Yeah.
time, it
I want to
wasn't
punch
like
the
anything else.
metaphorical
No,
idea
yeah,
of
it
this
was
And then
song
he
in the
gets the
face.
Ramones and Herman Munster, Fred Gwynn.
Yes.
In one movie, I mean, it's perfect.
And you know what's funny? I actually seen the pictures for the new remake they're doing for that, and John Lithgow is going to be Herman Munster's character.
Really?
Yeah, which I think that's pretty cool.
I'll give them the attempt, but you just can't.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
originals were just, they
No.
had a chemistry that...
Yeah, the chemistry there was right there. It was spot on.
And plus, they carried it over from Car 54 as well.
Yeah.
Both
And
Frank Quinn
Zelda,
Lewis.
Zelda is still one of the most freakiest characters in any horror movie I will ever see.
But what about horror film, like horror for TV? Now with Munsters and Addams Family, more like
funny.
horror.
I was more.
and I love them.
I was more of a Addams Family than a Munsters. Munsters is great, but I was more of a Addams Family
Morticia.
growing up.
Yeah, Lily Munster
Gotta
wasn't
be
no
a-
slouch either.
No.
Yes.
Good old Pat Priest, the normal one in the group.
The normal one, yeah.
I did watch the movies. I actually have both the movies on VHS and DVD, and literally I loved those when I was a kid. So
The
I know
Addams
everybody
Family.
would think otherwise because you grew up with the show, and then when they watched the movie, it was good. But some people were like, "Oh, it's not like the TV
They did
show."
they did a remake of the show. It didn't last long.
Yeah,
In the
a couple
80s
years
or-
ago.
Well, they did one
Couple
called
years ago.
1313 Mockingbird Lane, but they did one before that with Ed Begley Jr. as Herman.
Yeah.
And they sing the theme song.
Oh God.
Oh,
But if we talk bands, you have to bring up the Cramps for
I'm,
horror.
there you
yes,
go.
I'm a huge Cramps fan. I love the
After I had
Cramps.
that Ghost Pepper Cheeseless Night, I had the Cramps.
Remember when your brother's band opened up for him at
Yeah.
Scorgies?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
yeah.
when Lux had the big white streak going
And he
on.
cut himself all over.
I'm going,
Lux
what
interior?
the hell is this?
This has got to be a long fucking time ago then.
Yeah, 81, I think
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Yeah, and Ivy
They were in their
They,
prime.
they were, man. I can honestly say.
I mean,
never
no
saw
matter what,
anything
even in
like
the
that.
90s, they were still in their prime.
Oh, they were
because
great.
They kept
Yeah.
going. Like, they never stopped. But then, I think the last time I heard about Cramps being here was in 2004.
Around then, they opened. It was
They played the
it was
old...
the opening act did not show. They played at Water Street.
Well,
Got
Yeah,
down there,
Water Street, yeah.
and Lux was climbing
I
on.
remember
the
I came back from a Bills game directly to see the Cramps.
Yep.
Jeff and I went, and we were there. And we were primed
I got a
already,
phone
and I'm
call.
like, holy crap!
I got a phone call because the opening band never showed,
Yeah.
so I missed the first 4 songs or so.
Like some Terry. Well, the Cramps were influenced by the Cleveland area host. I mean, the Mad Daddy, who he wasn't he did have a horror show on, but they used to hang him upside down, or at least put the picture upside down, and then do a negative of him talking. And it didn't last too long, apparently. And then, of course, he was big on the radio. And then Ghoulardi, who was just more of a wise ass, Ernie Anderson, that he was a horror host. I mean,
Speaking of B-movie stuff and everything, especially with directors, I was actually going to ask you guys, what do you think of Ed Wood?
love him.
He's genius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? There
I
was,
say,
he
'cause
was
I never
he was
really
ahead of
watched
his
a lot of
time.
Ed Wood movies, but I've heard a lot about the guy.
Oh, Plan 9 is a classic.
Yes, it is.
Bride of the Monster.
Bride of the Monster. Was
Yeah.
he? Did he do
Glenn or Glenda.
Glenn or
Yeah, Glenn or
Glenda.
Glenda. That's
It's
it.
all
That was
Yeah,
was
but
way
he was
ahead of
also
its
known for
time.
wearing dresses and shit.
Yeah,
like
well,
that,
that's what Glenn and Glenda is about.
Oh, Glenn and
But,
Glenda.
We
Yeah.
have somebody who dresses as a clown here, and you're worried about that.
Oh, I'm not worried about
You
that.
wear
I'm
a
just
dress
saying.
when you're playing, for
I
goodness
actually,
sake.
hey, I look pretty.
It matches his eyes. Knock it
Yeah.
off.
It was actually my fiance's dress, and she let me wear it. I was actually really shocked, but yeah, I was
Didn't
just
let, he just took it.
yeah, this guy. You know, it's funny. I wish I did, but no, I asked first. I'm the
There you
I'm
go.
the
You're
good.
polite.
It was better
You're
to seek
polite spouse.
forgiveness
Yeah,
last
it's all
time.
Yeah,
good,
but we're not really that polite to each other. But
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Related to Ed Wood is William Castle, he of the gimmicks.
Yeah.
Wait, William Castle.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
House on Haunted Hill.
Mr.
He would,
Sardonicus.
Yes. House
he
on
would
Haunted
have a
Hill.
Murgo. He would have a skeleton
Okay.
fly out into the movie theater. The Tingler, he would have a button under
Yeah.
one of the seats. You would sit down
Every
and get
random
shot.
every random seat they would zap.
Why don't they do that now? Like,
Probably
seriously.
people will sue.
Because
them.
people
Because
would
you will
complain.
get people will
Yep.
sue them.
They'll
Yeah,
sue
somebody
them.
will.
Oh, I
have-
got my butt
I don't think
tingles.
they
The
knew
skeleton
what
hurt
Zoom
my
was back
feels.
then.
Yeah.
Well, you just didn't.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Because the judge was like, get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But now they're more sensitive about things.
Yes,
So,
because
yeah.
there's more
They
money.
shouldn't be.
Oh,
but-
God.
But now the horror movies are more
Bastards.
gory and
Yeah.
violent
Yeah.
than they were back in
They're
the
like
70s
actual
and 80s.
crimes. So,
and that's
yeah.
what I wanted to say. The art of the psychological horror movie is
That
gone.
is
Yeah.
it.
That is.
Because the
all
first
of them are
Hitchcock
done.
is,
Yeah.
of course,
Yeah.
the first name you think of.
And the
but-
first one I watched was The House of Wax. You
Yeah.
don't see anything
I
bad,
did
but it
watch that when I was a
terrified me.
kid.
Oh,
That,
Right.
that did
And I
scare
saw
the shit
that
out of me
in
when I was a
the
kid.
90s.
The Hills Have Eyes are the same way.
Ooh,
Just
yeah.
them creepy people up, and that was actually based on a true story as well.
Yeah.
You know, crazy fuckers like me living in the mountains that randomly kill people.
You in the mountains? I can't see that.
No, I like to hang out in hayrides.
Yeah.
The cabin, the woods,
And-
up in the mountains.
Oh yeah, I hang out in the cabin in the woods too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a good one, actually. I like Cabin
Yeah.
in the
What,
Woods.
cabin in the woods? Because
Yeah.
I heard
I
a
like
lot
that
of
one a
mixed
lot.
things.
It's
Like
I
people,
like
good.
people say bad things about it, people say good things, and I'm just like,
was
I
a
don't even
fan.
know what.
I was a fan. Check it out.
Yeah.
It depends on like The Nun that just came out.
Oh, there's a.
I've been eyeballing that.
There's
Have
a-
you seen it?
Bad reviews. I've heard good reviews, and people say, It's all right.
I've heard people like who are big into horror movies and they watch The Nun. Well, I was like, "What do you think of it?" And they're like, it's good, but it's like a comedy to me because it's like you know what it is and what's scary and stuff, but they actually laugh at the scary parts.
Well, that's the thing now. You know, like we all were talking about the older movies. You didn't know what was going to happen. You know, you didn't know that Dracula was going to attack this one person.
Yeah.
Now, after Jason's 10 movies and Freddy's 12 movies,
After
and Michael
100 years of horror films,
there's like everything is so done and recycled.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what's going to happen.
And all those that dark universe they have out now with that horrible mummy movie.
Right.
What?
They're gonna do a creature from the Black Lagoon.
No, they're not.
No, and I had my
what about
thoughts
the
on
crawling
this.
eye? Do another one.
Long
I
Dong
feel
Tucker.
like The Shape of Water was basically the creature from the Black Lagoon.
No, but my thought on the Creature from the Black Lagoon reboot, it's going to be
better be good.
It's
I'll
going
be
to be an
pissed.
environment. The environment spawned this social justice warrior monster
What?
to combat. That's my working theory. To combat the pollution, that will be the new
Will he
creature
do
So
from
like
the Black
Godzilla
Lagoon.
versus the smog monster?
Oh my
no.
God.
Ghidorah.
No, was it?
Godzilla's the government, Smog Monster.
Well, some
all
of
of
those
us.
Japanese horror movies are messed.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Japan and South Korea make some
They know how to
intense
make good
horror
movies.
movies.
They have a movie about a killer wig.
Yep, hair.
Oh.
It's called Scary
Didn't
Hair.
Hound
It's
Dog
called.
Taylor do that? No. Okay.
He did
No.
Hair of the.
Give me back my wig.
Yeah, give me back my wig.
Give me back.
Look at the anime.
wanna watch
Just
that.
the
That's
Japanese
fine.
anime, not even horror. That's fucked up cartoons.
Yeah.
I mean, a squid that's, fucking a girl, you're like, what the
Yeah,
fucking
well,
tentacle
'cause-
monsters and shit.
because
here
I've
now.
always
Well,
thought
it's all
there's such
seafood.
a there's
Oh,
such
yeah,
a
yeah.
Yeah,
there's
It
such a
smells the
reserved
same.
society that they have to have their outlets, which is why their TV and movies are so crazy.
Well, and spoiler alert, Old Boy. It's a story of somebody who gets hauled away for 18 years so a guy can exact revenge because he teaches him in college by tricking him into having an incestuous relationship with his daughter and cutting his tongue out.
That just sounds something.
Watch
I
the
would do.
Korean one,
Yeah.
the one with I like Josh Brolin, but the Korean version of Old Boy is better.
I feel like what I like is what is it? Let Me In. They actually did there
Let
was
the
a
Right One
remake.
In.
You
Yeah,
let the
then
right
they-
one in.
then they
That
made
was
it-
supposed to be scarier than Let Me
The
In.
first one's better, but the remake was not bad.
I liked it. I like Let Me In. I
but
thought
the
that was
second,
pretty
the first
cool.
one's creepier.
You know,
It follows it mostly.
The two kids are like they have a special bond and a friendship, and they travel together, and like they're basically one now. Is that basically like let the right one in, like that concept right there?
Same movie almost.
It
just a
was
little
almost
different.
shot for shot from the what was it, Norwegian or Danish?
Yeah.
Or Swedish? Well, it was somewhere in Scandinavia.
Yeah. So,
okay.
favorite Halloween cereal: Frankie Berry's Chunk Chocolate, Blueberry.
I have all three of those boxes at home. I do, no joke. I actually love those
But then there's-
cereals, and when around this time comes around, I make sure I have enough money because they're like $2.50 a piece. So literally, I grab.
Well, you know
like,
they
all three of
banned
them.
Yummy Mummy because of Britain.
Yeah, and
Why
and
is that? Why are they-
because Yummy Mummy is the British slang term for a MILF.
What?
But they
And it was, and on top of that, it was
Yeah.
fruity Yummy Mummy, and we know what
Poor
fruity.
yes,
Blueberries
yes.
ever.
Oh.
Yeah, and
that's
that's
the
why
thing is
the
don't
one
buy
you
back, baby.
you brought up
But
that I
the-
didn't even remember, the very short-lived Fruit Beast.
Wait, didn't they have like the wolf one? They had a wolf cereal.
they did.
with
Yeah,
that?
Fruit Beast.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
He-
Fruit Beast.
He
Okay.
died very quickly because
That wasn't
fruit
popular.
was not good.
Nobody
Standards
remembers-
of morals and practices got on him.
Nobody talks about poor Blueberry. He's never the favored.
No.
No,
Yeah.
for me,
I like Frankenberry.
I
a
throw
lot.
my vote for Frankenberry.
And
Mine
Count
too.
Chocula. Like those are the best ones. But I feel like Blueberry is the underrated one, but it's still good. But it's I don't know. Do you really want to eat blueberry cereal? Like,
Yes.
Okay.
It makes you poop green because
I
of all
like
the
Fruit
artificial
Loops
dyes.
with the ghost marshmallows and stuff in it. Now that is my dinner.
But I've
your
been
jam?
warned.
Yeah,
Watch
my
out
jam, my
for the
jam.
everything's pumpkin spice now.
Actually,
look at
I
this.
got pumpkin
Disgusting.
spice.
Just regular.
I'm
regular.
sorry. I'm a basic white girl. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But we
Hashtag-
have, I heard the
hashtag-
pumpkin spice cereals
Goddamn
are gross.
millennials.
Uh-oh.
No, but I
Mike's
actually
gonna win.
Wait,
you
is
gonna
it
pull
did he
it
win?
off?
Well, no, it doesn't say. It's
won $1 million.
Vacations. You have not yet won, you son of a
I
gun.
got a free donut out of that one time, and
No,
I
free
never
donuts,
use it.
no.
But I don't like their donuts. at
Free
Dunkin'
donut
Donuts.
from a company that we will not mention because they're not paying us.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Fuck that place. That's just kidding.
Hey, you're taking advantage of our swearing policy on this show.
Well, I'm
it's
sorry.
there.
It's all
I mean,
right.
you know,
Don't
The
you
show
bleep
is
it
now
out.
rated
No, we just
R.
play it.
I'm sorry.
Did you just make a pirate joke down there?
Screw
Rated
that.
R.
But like for the modern horror shows. Now, American Horror Story should have jumped the shark.
Yeah,
That
that
was funny.
it was good the first time,
yeah.
but when they redo it 9
Freak Show
times,
is the best. I thought Freak
Freak
was the
Show
best.
is good.
Freak Show
I
good.
actually watched a little bit of Coven. The
I like
witch one
Coven.
Coven's good.
Asylum bored the shit out of me.
Murder House. I don't know. I wasn't really into Murder House. That one, the first one. I mean, I don't know. I just got bored
was
with it after
this-
the first 2 episodes.
The 6th one, Roanoke, was
first 2 episodes.
I
I
couldn't
Yeah,
do
I
it,
was just
Roanoke.
like, is it?
I haven't seen any of this season yet. Apocalypse.
Well, we don't.
Oh, that was a mixture of Murder House and Coven.
Okay, because I have 4
Yeah.
of them on my DVR, but I haven't actually
Yeah,
watched
but
it yet.
my fiance, she loves the fucking wait, hold on. Let me get $1 for the jar. I'm sorry.
We don't edit these.
Oh, you don't?
No.
Well, I thought you said it
No,
was okay.
you can. It's,
No, I did.
We could just add.
No,
all
we were
these
just
in.
whoa.
All right. Oh, all
It'd
right.
be a whole
All
show
right.
of
Well,
beeps.
Because it's funny now.
We have you so when Rellik
truck
kills
is
you, we
backing
say
up
we were at
around
the
here the
show.
way this is
Okay.
sound. It
I am
should be
sorry
bad.
for anyone out there
No,
who
it's
is
all right.
offended.
We don't
Sorry,
care.
not sorry.
I'm not sorry.
I was going to say, for me, greatest horror film star ever is still Karloff.
Yeah.
I think so.
The greatest horror movie of all time is Night of the Demons. No, I'm just kidding. That's not the...
No, it's Navy versus the Night Monsters. They go to Antarctica and battle demonic trees.
No, but seriously, Night of the Demons is so messed up. It really is, because they kept being they're very misogynist in that movie and very sexist towards the women. And that, like, they keep calling them, bitches and, like, smack them
God, it's
up
been
and
years
stuff.
since I've seen that movie.
It's the 30th anniversary of the movie because it came out in '88. But it's so messed up. It's like you don't show that movie to kids and them now because they'll be so offended by that movie.
And remember, too, while you were mentioning about the creature from Black Lagoon, in Return of the Creature, who do we have? A young Clint Eastwood.
Yeah,
He's
Clint
in
is in one of-
Tarantula.
Well, he's also
wait,
in
he's in
Tarantula,
Tarantula.
too.
He's
Yeah,
the bomber
one-
pilot in Tarantula.
He
napalms
shoots
his
the
spike
rockets.
gun.
I said, look,
Tarantula.
that spider does not stand a chance. Clint Eastwood is locked and loaded. You're dead, pal.
Do
And that's what
you
happened.
ever watch that movie, Them?
Oh, yeah.
That-
One of my
yeah.
favorites.
Actually, the only reason why I knew about that movie is because the Misfits had a song called Them, and it was about that ant
Yeah.
movie.
Shoot
yeah.
the antenna.
Well, it appears we're gonna have to do a sequel to this sometime. It's
Yes.
been fun, but the sun appears to be coming out, and I don't
Ah,
want to
I
turn
got-
into like
I
a
must
tomato.
run.
Oh, man.
So we're always about plugs here.
We're
Shameless
gonna-
plugs. So
It's a new segment, the Carnival of Randomness Shameless Plug
So
Corner.
all of you guys, what's
Yay.
going on with all of you? We'll start with Rellik or Evil Brother Chaos.
Yes, Rellik can be seen at Haunted Hayrides of Greater Rochester, Williamson. I'll be the creepy one walking around, scaring the crap out of everyone. Stop me, take pictures. I will sign an autograph on your forehead. Chaos may be making an appearance. I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to let him out of the box. I like him in a box. You can also find me, facebook.com, Rellik Nightmares, New York, that's NY.com. Or you can just Google Rellik Clown of Nightmares, and I will pull up there.
With a
Facebook
K,
as
remember.
well.
Spell it R-E-L-I-K.
Rellik. And
yeah.
for those of you too young to know anything, that is Killer backwards.
I was too dumb to know that one.
All right, well, it doesn't matter. Even the old ones can't figure it out.
I didn't know about it until he told me. Like,
And then,
what the-
of course, Chaos is K-A-O-S, the Clown, K-L-O-W-N. All 3 are on Facebook. You can find them, like I said, Haunted Hayrides, Greater Rochester, stop out. Tickets are
And you have a horror
19.
camp next year coming up.
Yes, I will have a horror camp out. A 13-hour interactive, hands-on, 18 and over event. There will be abductions. There will be food. We got to feed you and keep you alive for 13 hours.
Yeah, I can see that.
There will be creepy
Yeah, you're going to
characters.
be feeding other guests to them.
Yes, I may feed,
But isn't that the
Mike
whole
here
point?
to somebody else, but he's got a little extra meat.
You ain't kidding, pal. We can feed an army.
We'll have games.
Do
we'll
the
have
Donner Party.
scavenger hunts. Creepy characters. Just keep an eye on Rellik Nightmare NY's Facebook page, and I will post about that once it is official. And, of course, I will have Carnival Randomness will be out there doing a brief podcast.
We will be there.
To be out there
and then
to
running
help
away.
scare, Zach and
You run while
Rob
doing
would
the
be
interview.
running the other direction, doing the podcast, but they will be there.
I don't run.
Mike.
I do a rock and roll radio show every Saturday for Eastern at differentradio.org. For those of you in Rochester or Ithaca, Rochester 88.5 FM, Ithaca 90.1 FM, and on the 27th, I dig up Count Mike for the host of the show, and then I talk like this for 2 hours and play bad old 50s and 60s novelty horror songs, and maybe a Cramps tune or two. That is the 27, maybe 3 if you want.
Check it every week,
But
too.
you know, when I talk like this and I start counting 3, 4, 5, you're thinking children's television. I can't.
wait.
Yeah, that's October 27th. WholeLottaShakin.net is
you're on
the
Facebook, too, and
is the
everything,
thing.
right?
Yeah, I'm on Facebook. But if you go to WholeLottaShakin.net, it's all there.
It's all good, too. Listen to it. It's great. My dad endorses it before Lawrence went.
There you go.
And Colin, what's coming up with the Creepers? Colin, we had Tommy on from the Grease Creepers. We have
Yep.
another Creeper here.
Yes, I'm the drummer for Grease Creepers. And we did break up in May, but we're mostly just doing shows from now on in October of every year. Just, because we're doing other things. We're being adults. It's dumb. But we are.
I cannot adult right now.
I don't want to adult right now, no. But no, we just did a show at Lux on Saturday, and it was a great turnout. Everybody had fun. There was dancing. People went nuts. There was a lot of
They were
drinking.
moshing, though. I had to go in the back,
Oh, yeah.
man.
There was a mixture of moshing and dancing, and it was just great, and it was a great turnout. We had a lot of fun, and our next shows, I'm in another band, too, that's just as creepy.
Shameless plug. Go on.
Called The Crazies, and it's actually based off that
Romero
horror movie, The
movie.
Crazies, yes. But, we're playing October 20th as The Crazies at Rose and Crown, and we're also doing a show in Syracuse on Halloween, which I always wanted to play a show on Halloween, so it's my little gift.
The home of Baron Damon, Syracuse.
Well, I saw
New
Alice
York.
Cooper
And-
there last night. I
Really?
finally, at the On
Oh,
Center, I
wait,
finally went
over
to see
there?
him.
This
Yeah.
is for you, Rob.
He's waving.
Yes, I'm waving. Hello.
Yeah, for you missed it. But you have a new CD coming out. too,
Yes,
for
we
the
are.
Creepers.
We've been recording so far. I've got done with all my drum tracks, so I have nothing to do with it. But we actually going to be releasing our second album this month, and it's called Stay Creepy. And that's how we always be. And it's going to be like our last CD because we're not really doing much except for doing shows like in October. So we're
There are
that's why
rituals
it's
to
the
get you
homage.
back out of the grave in October, though. It'll get you out of the crypt.
Yeah, they do like rituals and like sacrilegious things. There might be a goat, a guinea pig.
But
I got the blood.
Yeah, he got the blood.
Well, it's been fun, and thank all you guys for coming. And go on, Colin. Don't let me
Yeah,
interrupt you.
oh no, you're fine. I'm sorry. But
It's my show. I can talk when I want.
show.
I know.
Shut up.
It's my party. I'll cry if I want to. No. Actually, the Grease Creepers, if you want to watch Grease Creepers, we're playing October 28th at Photo City. And we're playing with a bunch of other bands that kind of sound like Susie and the Banshees and like,
And
goth
that
new
will
wave
be the
bands.
debut of the new album, yes?
Yes, that's when we're doing the CD release show. So if you want to come out to Photo City, come out October 28th. I'll be coming back from the Scaricon Horror Convention from Verona just to do the show after I get done with that. So it'll be a perfect Halloween weekend.
And let's set this up. We have a little treat. We're going to play "Smile" by the Grease Creepers. And
Yep.
what is it about? An evil clown, fittingly.
Hey, actually, it's hilarious. It's about a schizophrenic clown that actually
That's me.
that takes kids out in the back in the tent after the show and just kills them and cuts up their faces, makes them smile, cut up their mouths, stuff like that. That's what.
Nice.
So it's just basically about a schizophrenic clown. I'll just go to that.
Unattended children will be taken to the circus and smiled.
So if you survived, it's been fun. Thanks all you guys for coming on. Love you back.
Thank you.
Real quick,
I'm glad to be
And
here.
real quick, we have to do.
We have to do our sponsor thing, though. God Almighty, after he listens to this one, he may not want to sponsor us anymore. Upsitnik and Associates, lawyers for you, the people, from the Supreme Court in D.C. to Alaska, all points in between. Find them on Facebook, Upsitnik and Associates. Find their website, upsitnikslaw.com, OPSITNICK. That's all for me.
Let's give Rellik a card so we can get out of jail free.
There is no
And
get
we'll
out of
leave
jail
you
free
with
cards.
Smile from Grease Creepers. Check the new album out. Check Whole Lot of Shakin' Out. It's great. Run away from Rellik and Chaos. See you later. Next time. Bye-bye.
See ya, everybody.